The hit procedural series NCIS has found success for the past 20 years with their original hit show and their spin-off show NCIS LA, but recently they tried their hand at the American Pacific Island and it worked out for them in spades. NCIS Hawaii Season 1 was a smash hit, and luckily for fans of the series, Season 2's filming is about to get underway. In today's video, we're going to be going over everything we know so far and what we can expect from the second season of NCIS Hawaii. So when does filming start and how long will it last? Filming began on June 28th of 2022 and was kicked off with a traditional Hawaiian blessing that is said to bring about tidings of renewal and good energy. The traditional blessing is called Hana Hou and is said to kick off something that is trying again or needing energy of renewal. Fans seem to enjoy the fact that this show is so incredibly rooted in its environment and is finding a very distinct Hawaiian identity to create this new chapter of the NCIS universe. Filming will go from June 28th and won't wrap until the end of the summer most likely, so expect the filming to end around August. Most of this season will be filmed in Oahu, much like the first season, and will be a nice return to the roots of the show, and will allow the show to continue to build upon the foundation that Season 1 laid so nicely. The season is set to debut in September, so despite the long-awaited filming announcement, there should be no other delays, and this season should premiere right on schedule. Will everyone from the first season be coming back? Based on what we saw from the blessing ceremony, it appears that all the big stars from the show's first season are set to return for Season 2. That includes the likes of Vanessa Lachey, Alex Tarrant, Noah Mills, Jason Antoon, Yasmin Al-Bustami, and Tori Anderson. All of these actors, along with many of the show's producers, writers, and directors, made an appearance at the blessing ceremony and took part in the tradition, along with all of the Hawaii Islanders who performed the ceremony. All of the actors seemed very excited to get back to work for this show and cannot wait to bring back their original characters from Season 1 back to life for the second season. All of them did such an amazing job in the first season, and I hope that they all can do the same once again for the second time around. What will this season be about? Unfortunately, as of this recording, we actually have no idea what the second season will revolve around in terms of major plot lines. However, we are optimistic that the second season can deliver as heart-pounding, adrenaline-inducing action and as heartwarming drama as they did in the first season. The first season did such an amazing job of fleshing out the characters and letting storylines develop into an interesting story, and there is no evidence to suggest that they won't be doing the same thing for Season 2. We can logically assume that the writers will be heavily focused on the relationship between Lucy and Whistler, as we do know they are back together. Obviously, in Season 1, this storyline was produced amazingly, and it allowed for the fans to fall in love with these characters and their relationship together, so I doubt that they will not do everything they can to cash in on this storyline. As for what else they could cook up, my guess is as good as anyone else's, but I would assume that they will continue to put the hammer down on Hawaii-specific crimes. What I mean by that is crimes that cannot or do not typically occur in any of their other locations. Again, like I mentioned before, this show does such an excellent job of creating a very specific Hawaiian identity, and it is something that draws their audience deeper into the characters and into the plot, and I think that they would be silly to not use this to their advantage. Will there be another crossover this season? As I'm sure you already know, there was a crossover between the original NCIS show and NCIS Hawaii last year, and fans cannot wait for the next one. Unfortunately, there is pretty much no chance that we see a full-fledged crossover between the two shows for at least another season. While it is nice to have the shows all converge and highlight the best of both shows, they become increasingly less exciting and less impactful if they are done too many times. What makes these crossovers so great and so memorable is the slow build-up towards them. If I had to guess, NCIS Hawaii won't be getting another crossover until maybe Season 3, and perhaps not even then. Also, if I had to bet on the next crossover, I would bet that it is not between NCIS and NCIS Hawaii, but it will be between all three of the American NCIS shows, which obviously includes Hawaii, LA, and NCIS. And some of you may have noticed that I said American NCIS shows and not just all of the NCIS shows. That is because come late 2022 or late 2023, we will be getting an all-new NCIS show, and you guessed it, it will not take place in America. If this new NCIS show is not in America, where is it? Much to people's surprise, the newest NCIS show will be called NCIS Antarctica, and it will be about a penguin agent who… Okay, did I get any of you with that one? Obviously, I'm kidding. The newest NCIS show will be called NCIS Sydney, and it will take place in Sydney, Australia. There are not too many details out on the show right now, as it has been kept tightly under wraps. However, it was ordered by Paramount Plus, the streaming service for Paramount Studios, which means that it will probably be a Paramount exclusive and will be used as a weapon to get fans of NCIS to to subscribe to Paramount Plus. Having an NCIS show take place outside of the US opens so many avenues if this takes off. This could be a crash and burn type of experiment, which would ultimately squash the international movement in NCIS, but if it takes off, this might just be the beginning of international NCIS shows. This would allow for the writers to reach a much larger audience and be able to tackle nation-specific crimes that, much like NCIS Hawaii, would have crimes that could not possibly take place anywhere else due to geography, culture, political landscape, etc. This could make for some very entertaining television and could spark an almost Marvel-esque universe creation. Imagine a world in which there are 12 NCIS shows and all of them cross over with each other. While this would almost certainly cause franchise fatigue, one does have to ask, if it hasn't happened yet, will it ever? I mean, obviously NCIS New Orleans comes to mind when you think of an NCIS show that fans didn't want to watch, but the original NCIS show has been on for 19 seasons, with a 20th and 21st season already ordered. With no end in sight for the original show, it does make me wonder if this show will ever see its true end, or if it will just slowly dissolve and become a multitude of shows spawned from the original cast. Speaking of that, every spin-off show that has spawned from NCIS, other than NCIS Hawaii, started with a 2-episode backdoor pilot in one of the other NCIS shows. With that being said, do you think there is a chance that this tradition continues with NCIS Sydney, or will this show follow the same route as Hawaii and start solo with their own pilot? Of course, right now it is hard to say, but if I had to guess, I would say that there will at least be a mention or a cameo from one of the characters that announces the beginning of NCIS Sydney in order to push people to subscribe to Paramount Plus. Not only that, starting a show in another show oftentimes increases popularity and usually attracts the target audience by giving them a sneak peek into the premise of the show. It is an easy tactic, and it is one that I would likely suspect they use in order to promote NCIS Sydney. That does mean there is a chance that we do get a sneaky crossover this season after all, and it might even be in the second season of NCIS Hawaii. Tune in this season to find out. Now, that's all we have for you guys today on the channel. Thank you all so much for watching. We hope you enjoyed the video, and we will see you all in the next video.